Quite an interesting development of Tesla entering the Indian market, as this morning the chief minister of Karnataka tweeted out that for the first time ever, an American firm, Tesla, will open an electric car manufacturing unit in Karnataka, which that tweet was actually deleted a few hours later, so this may have been a premature announcement. Maybe Tesla was trying to save that one, or maybe they didn't want to announce it until later, but I must add, this guy knows something we don't, probably, because there's not really much reason for him to fake a tweet like this. And sure, Tesla may not have located a specific plot of land yet, and maybe they haven't purchased property, and that's maybe why they're hesitant to announce it. But similar to Giga Texas, there were references and there were rumors brewing for a long time that that's where the location was going to be, and that's pretty much where it ended up being. So it's very, very likely that this report is legit. Elon Musk has talked about it for a long time, saying that finally in 2021 they would enter the market of India. Earlier this year in January, they filed for business licenses and bought copyright ownership of Tesla, so they filed as an official business in the Indian market, and now getting from a politician official confirmation that they are going to build an electric vehicle production plant there has a lot of people thinking what this could mean, because India, while it has one of the highest populations on the planet, it's not necessarily the largest automotive market on the planet. It's sitting at around 5th right now, and it's a very different automotive market compared to the United States or Europe or China. Two-wheeled vehicles and a lot of smaller, more compact, very affordable vehicles are quite popular for this demographic, which is why a lot of people are curious how Tesla is going to enter it. And while India has a whole lot of people and a desperate need for more clean energy, just like any country, but India does in particular need it, most are speculating that a lot of Powerwall and solar production are going to take place at Giga Karnataka, or whatever they end up calling it, which would absolutely make a lot of sense for the market. But entering the market with things like the Model Y and the Model 3, they would serve some market. I mean, it's probably easy to gloss over the fact that, yeah, a lot of India doesn't quite have the money to afford vehicles like that, but there is still a very large demographic of people that can afford more high-end vehicles, and if Tesla did want to start building the Model 3 and Y at first in that factory, they would probably sell a decent number to some of the more richer demographics in India. But my prediction here, given they have not laid out a timeline, they did not say whether or not this factory would break ground in 2021, they might just be working with the government on where the best place for the facility could be, but at the end of the day, might not even break ground until next year. We don't know. But my prediction here is that Tesla wants to ramp up production of the Model 2 in India first, and that will be kind of the first spearhead vehicle to enter the market with, because some of the best-selling vehicles in India do sit below the $20,000 price point, and Model 2 most likely wouldn't be below that, but it is electric, so it'd be a lot cheaper to operate compared to the gas vehicles that are selling so well there. And I'm sure working with the government there, they could work out a huge amount of EV tax credits Tesla could take advantage of, and hopefully bring a $25,000 car to more like $18,000 with credits, and then you got to factor in the gas savings and all that. I think it makes sense that Tesla will want to enter that market with a very affordable and yet safe vehicle. I think that it's probably a gross oversimplification that all small vehicles are instantly unsafe. You have to also keep in mind the market it's going to be serving. If there's not a lot of huge vehicles in India, then making a smaller size Tesla won't necessarily be unsafe, because there's not going to be a lot of huge vehicles that can crash into it and total it. So it's the size range you have to think a lot more about. And because India has a car market that's so different than other countries, they could probably design a car quite differently to fit that demographic best. By all means, though, I hope that people who can afford those higher end Teslas like the 3 and the Y, building those in India would be cool. They would just simply not be serving as much as a demographic as they would in China and the United States. But we're now hearing rumors brewing, of course, that Giga Shanghai plans to have a operational Model 2 assembly line potentially by the end of next year, which means that a design is probably close to being finalized. The president of Tesla China mentioned that they plan on selling that globally as well. And now we're hearing rumors that in Germany, they plan on skipping the Model 3 production and just going straight to the Model 2. That way they can have a cheaper European-style hatchback out in the market by next year, instead of ramping up the Model Y production, then ramping up Model 3 production, and then finally ramping a cheaper Tesla in 2023. That's a little too long. So that means that a finalized design, one that will be rocking, I'm sure, single-piece castings on the front and back and a structural 4680 battery pack, there could be a lot of this vehicle ramping in 2022, especially if they plan on doing first deliveries next year and Berlin plans on working on the production line. Now it sounds like any day now Tesla might confirm that they're entering India with a gigafactory that will be mass producing this more affordable vehicle. Makes a whole lot of sense because India is a huge demographic and it's one that Tesla hasn't really broken into yet. Import tariffs are very, very high there, basically 100%. So you have to pay double for what you would have to pay for a Model 3 in another country. But even if you could get it down to typical pricing, it wouldn't sell great, which is why I think it makes sense for Tesla to work on a relatively affordable and small compact vehicle that could still be very safe, but it would also be challenging to see how autopilot and enhanced autopilot could do in that market because roads and traffic laws are so different and sometimes very hectic. So how that would train the full self-driving neural net and everything would be very, very interesting. But I'm excited for those Tesla fans that are out in India that are finally getting some confirmation now. I hope that a factory location can be chosen quickly and Tesla can get the move on this because it is a huge demographic, and if Tesla wants to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, they gotta get into more countries with lots of people and the countries that need it most, and I think India is very high on that list. So how do you guys think Tesla should enter the market? Do you think they should start with the Model 3, and why? If they do start with the 3, I'd probably argue they'd have to do a lot of redesigns to make it a lot simpler to mass produce compared to the non-single piece rear castings that they're doing in Shanghai and Fremont right now. Hopefully they can streamline it a bit better so they can bring the price down, make it a more efficient vehicle and an easier one to build. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.